you what I'm willing to do for my animals.
I really feel like I was put on this earth to rescue cats.
I've had to fight for everything I got.
So it's war.
It's war.
Joe vs. Carol. Limited series Wednesday, March 23rd, only on Showcase.
The Canadian film and TV industry recognizes it's time to build a better workforce, which includes more opportunities for Black, Indigenous, and persons of color. HireBIPOC.com is here to help make this happen. Whether you're already in the business, trying to get a start, or in a position to hire, HireBIPOC.com could connect you to the right people. From script to development, production to post, distribution to marketing. Check out HireBIPOC.com now and help build a stronger industry together.
This is Rogers TV.
Welcome to Tombolo. I'm your host, Laura Beltumba, and I will be your guide through this year's Tombolo Multicultural Festival. The Tombolo Multicultural Festival is a not-for-profit organization committed to showcasing the diversity and multiculturalism within Newfoundland and Labrador. The Tombolo Multicultural Festival will feature music, dancing, arts, storytelling, and a fusion of culture and nature. In partnership with the Arts and Culture Centres, Rogers TV, and funded by the Canadian government through the Department of Canadian Heritage, this year's Tombolo Festival aims to provide earning opportunities for artists and cultural workers who have been deeply affected by the pandemic through the closure of cultural venues and performance arenas. This show will bring the Tombolo Multicultural Festival to you in the safety of your home through television and internet sources. That way you can enjoy the multitude of culture and diversity our province has to offer. We'll start our trip off in Stephenville with Mi'kmaq artist Paul Pike and his traditional Mi'kmaq flute. Paul is a professional recording artist and a northern traditional dancer. So sit back, relax, and let's go. Thank you so much for that wonderful performance, Paul. We're now going to be joined by Dunn Dunphy, who is going to be taking us on an adventure through Stephenville Crossing, reliving some of his favorite childhood memories. Dunn is a retired geologist, educator, and actor. Over the last 12 years, Don has honed his skills in the arts of grinding, sanding, and polishing local rocks and gemstones for his works. He will be presenting to us a story called Throwing Stones.
I was telling my son about the things that we'd done once the nuns let us go for the year. Home like rockets we'd fly, shed that white shirt and bow tie, and it's, let's see that report card, my dear. Whether you'd pass or you'd fail, you were still clear of that jail. 10 weeks of glorious fun lay ahead. We'd play hockey or baseball or do nothing at all, but we'd seldom lay around in the bed. No Game Boy or Xbox or such video games, no internet, no cable TV. His eyes opened wide and he said rather snide, "How boring, now how could that be?" Says I, "Sure, growing up in the crossing, there was lots of good fun to be had. Whether there was rain or 'twas fair, you had not a care, except perhaps a ball hockey loss made you mad. Fishing off Rocky Point, a trip up to Indian Head Pond, or to the old bridge at the Gut for a look. We'd dig worms at White's Farm and then fish in those drawns, or perhaps past Black Duck to Trout Brook. We'd catch sea trout and mud trout and mackerel and cod with a push button or open face reel on the rod. There was smelts and tom cod, course, lots of salmon peel and sculpin skates, flatfish, and the occasional eel. Now, the term mad cow had a different meaning, I allow, as we'd shoot pellets at Parsons's herd. Simply running across his field could some danger there yield, or you might simply step into a turd. An old hockey stick, some elastics and nails, and a clothespin then used for a trigger, made a weapon so cruel in the hands of some fool, would welt your backside if he knew how to rig her. Then there was loo, man-o'-war, frozen tag, and much more, but hopscotch was mainly for girls. And you wouldn't be caught fraternizing with that lot till you grew up and liked long hair and curls. He said, "Sounds like fun, Dad, and most not so bad." Says I, "Of course, there's things best untold and unknowns. But the best time of all, sure, was hardly nothing at all. Just the time that we spent throwing stones." Yep, throwing stones, chucking rocks from the shore or the dock, sometimes there for hours upon end. You could play it alone, away or near home, and it cost not a penny to spend. You'd skip flat ones and then count 7, 8, 9, 10, and then another one, and so on and on. If there was nothing else to do, sure, it didn't matter to you, just so long as the pond remained calm. Then you'd throw one straight up. It'd cut the water with a we'd call that cutthroat when done right. The highest, would land with least show, and you'd throw it with all of your might. Then there were targets, like bottles, tin cans, or just trees, yellow hammers or robins, black-capped chickadees. You'd throw some while standing and some from down on your knees. From a specified distance, you begin a contest, throw a dozen or more, and you'd stop for a rest. When you got tired of throwing because your arm got too sore, you'd bat some with sticks and then throw some more. Now, in the crossing, as its name indicates, there was always a train, and we'd line up in rows and we'd take careful aim. That Newfie bullet, it wasn't that fast. Pickety-pack, pack, pack, pack with the rocks we would blast. Of course, there was some thrown in anger. Let's not forget, there's one long-lived spat we all know of, I bet. We'd meet the Protestants on the bog between two schools and stand there and throw at each other like fools. That one was solved back in '68. Amalgamation helped put an end to that hate. Now the Catholics and Protestants here get along, but elsewhere in the world, similar hatreds live on. Now, there was one guy from down at the end of my street. At throwing, there's no one around he'd not beat, and to say he was talented, I would be remiss. And to describe him, I'd have to say something like this. He had arms about this long, and he had fingers like that, and he'd pick up a rock, whether 'twas round or 'twas flat, and he'd heave it with ease and with grace and with style, and by jumpins, I swear, he could pitch it a mile. And accurate? My jumps. He could take knots out of trees or take flowers out from underneath bumblebees. With one stone could he take down the insulator from a power line pole, much to the dismay of linesmen like my brother Noel. He'd say, all right now, boss, who could hit that tree? And of a dozen, I'd get perhaps a couple or three, but him, he'd always get at least 9 out of 10. And on another attempt, he could do it again. You know, you would throw at a seagull, but it would duck it somehow. Its scavenger quickness just wouldn't allow. But him, he had a way. He knew what to do. Sure, once, with a ricochet, I saw him get 2. You know, he once threw a rock up. It seemed to go up for miles. I believe that's what loosened the space shuttle's tiles. And these skills were transferred, oh yes, to such things as marbles, softball, and darts, and other important things. Sure, he once threw a softball up with great skill. It got caught in a updraft and was carried over the hill, sailed over Indian Head, just missed the stack on the mill, and flattened the truck when it landed in Stephenville. Yes, he became quite a legend for his talents around, and if he'd have tried, sure, he'd have become world-renowned, but alas, of his abilities little is known, except of course what you've learned here in this little poem. So, I'll always remember those warm summer days and how we amused ourselves in so many ways. But what I'll always remember and think of so dear is throwing rocks with my friends in the summer each year. Is that true? He said, Dad. Why, that all sounds so rad. Can you show me that cutthroat again? With a wink and a smile, we threw for a while, and we talked more about times back when.
And we are joined now by Ms. Zainab Jarrett, Director of the Tombolo Multicultural Festival of Newfoundland and Labrador. Zainab, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's my absolute pleasure. So, letting our guests know, so how long have you been Director of the Tombolo Multicultural Festival?
Well, I've been the director or executive director since 2012.
Oh, wow. So It's been a while. So you've seen the festival grow and evolve and change over time. What are you most excited about that you've seen happen over the last few years?
Well, I'm really excited about how far we've gone or we've grown. We started actually in Fairyland.
Okay.
And then St. John's, we combined the 2 locations together. We were having annual St. John's Tombolo Multicultural Festival at the Arts and Culture Center, and then another one at Fairyland at the Arts building there. Okay. But now it has grown so big that we are all over the province.
Fantastic.
We organize annual St. John's Tombolo Multicultural Festival here at the Arts and Culture Center. We organize Ganda Tombolo Multicultural Expo in town of Ganda. We are also in Conception Bay. We organize multicultural events in Burgos, Cupids, Carbonia, and other small communities. And this year, for this particular project, which is quite different from our regular festivals, is meant to actually support workers in the live arts and the music sectors in Newfoundland and Labrador. During this COVID, a lot of them are not working, they are not employed, so the government of Canada, through the Department of Canadian Heritage, funded our organization to organize series of concerts and other events that will help provide funding for artists, musicians, and other artists in the province.
Well, it's fantastic to see that the festival has grown so much over the last few years, and the fact that we have so many little pockets of it going on. What is one memory that sticks with you from all your years as director?
One memory is seeing people from so many cultures, diverse cultures, coming together and celebrate their cultures and local Newfoundland and Labrador culture through music, food, and other cultural performances. I love to see people coming together from different cultures and learning about each other's culture and just enjoying each other's company. I love that.
Well,
the diversity, yeah.
That's fantastic. If you have one thing to say to our audience as they tune in today, what's one thing you hope that they learn from this festival?
I want people to learn or to be more aware of the fact that we are culturally diverse now in this province, and that we have a lot of talented artists, both local and immigrant artists, who will be performing not just music and poetry, but also showcase their artwork. So the cultural diversity is something that I want people to enjoy and understand when they watch this particular program.
And if people have any questions and comments about how they can be involved in Tombolo next year and in the years to come, how do they get in contact with you?
Well, we have a website it's www.rl.ca/Tombolo.
Okay.
So just once they Google Tombolo Multicultural Festival Newfoundland and Labrador, they will find our website as well as our Facebook page. So this year, actually, our festival, the Tombolo Festival in St. John's, will be in August.
Okay.
We actually will be going across the province, but we'll also, because of COVID, will be in Conception Bay again and Ganda. So the dates will be on our website.
Perfect. So people have the opportunity to kind of watch this one and then later in the summer be able to see the Tombolo Festival in person again this year.
In person and virtual as well,
Well,
but
that's
mostly in person this time.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
As things open up, we can see things happen culturally within our cities again.
Hopefully.
Thank you so much for joining me. We're super excited to take a look at all the diversity and multiculturalism our province has to offer.
Thank you, and thank you to Rogers for doing this program with us. We are very grateful. We also want to thank, of course, the Government of Canada for providing the funding for this project. So thank you very much.
Now we're off to Corner Brook, where we will see a wonderful piece, which is a mixture of poetry and an interview about Old Crow Gulch. Crow Gulch was a community within Corner Brook whose residents were mainly of Mi'kmaq ancestry. They faced racism and discrimination. The area was mainly ignored when Corner Brook was established until the late 1960s. The residents were then forced to relocate and their homes demolished. This inspired Douglas Walburn Go to write his book, Crow Gulch. We will now hear an excerpt of this story with interview from Maggie Benoit Wheeler.
Well, I can start with we came in from Stephenville Crossing, and me and Dad and Mom and my brother Joey. Yes. Just only had two of us then. My older sister was already in here, living with my grandparents on Fisher's Road, and just down from the Gulch. Yes. So we moved in 1951, and we went to live with our grandparents down in Fisher, down on Pear Road. Okay. So Dad said, well, you know, he went up on this hill, on a big hill, and was flat and everything, nobody's land. So he said, well, we're going to build a home up there.
Ella and Rudy. She loved his swagger. The bigger-than-I-look way he entered the room, somehow underlined with respect. Found himself looking at his feet, stealing glances. Nerves flooding his chest when their eyes met. Her brothers teased her for having a few extra beer to offer. Anything to delay his leaving. Hard truth was, she had nothing to her name outside 8 kids and a shack that let light in at the corners. Didn't matter. He fell for her like a stone, left the valley to start over. He loved the raw honesty, how they earned every scrap. Eventually, they moved on up to Dunfield Park, oil heat and running water like winning the lottery. After Ella died, he'd drink cup after cup of tea. Always let the kettle scream a few minutes past boiling as he blank stared the kitchen window. Us wondering what he was waiting for, if he was going deaf. He kept getting hit by cars. Magnetic, we joked. He had to be. He was just different. Spent his last years like that, deflated. The few photographs of them together, kitchen table littered with bottles, ashtrays, stray playing cards, her slender hand holding a half-smoked Rothmans, giant glasses magnifying her dark eyes, yet still outshone by her grin. His thick hand draped lazily over her shoulder, a wild look in his eye, ready to correct someone's local history. She'd let him speak, then tell how it really happened. Together, in their favorite way, surrounded by friends, stories, enough to keep tomorrow at bay a little longer.
We was all there, and we had happy times down there. We had hard times and that.
Yes.
But we made a community out of it, a little hometown for us. We never paid no taxes or nothing. We never had no electricity. We never had no water. And no toilets or nothing. We had outhouses.
Right.
But down over the hill, down across the track, that's where we used to have to go down and lug up our water.
Okay, so
In
you had to lug your water
buckets,
up.
water, yeah, down there. And then there was a big path going down to Pier Road, and they had a thing like that there, hose coming up out of the ground, and the water was steady running. That's where we used to get our drinking water.
Right.
From there, and lug that up over the hill. How many buckets I ever lugged up over the hill?
I bet. I bet.
So this is titled Escape. No way to heat this house at night. Winter mornings, your breath gone vapor. Frost on the bunk above you, on the ceiling. Pray the firewood's not too damp. No fire, no buns and molasses. Another hungry morning of math, standing next to your desk, reciting the Lord's Prayer. Give us this day our daily bread. But it's February, and the bay's stacked with pack ice, and this house lets in snow at its seams. The bed's warm, though. A feather mattress. All those freezing naked birds. Guilt. You could sink down deep, cocoon, and the weight of these homemade quilts, you could sleep forever. Anything but the bleary-eyed walk to the outhouse, the small cold shock of last week's news against your skin. You could call it hardship, all this hard living just to stay alive. Nice to escape, though, this feather bed. Dream up whatever life you want.
Yeah, up on that hill, my God, it was about 25 houses up on that hill, where we lived, you know. And then you go down across the track, and then there was more houses down there. And then you go down further down the track, that was Alcrow Gulch, more. That's where it ended. We was in between Curling and Cornerbrook. You know, and we was a Mi'kmaq community.
Right.
You know, we all come in from out St. George's, Flat Bay, all them places, Sandy Point. Come in, that's where we originated, down there.
Right. So
So-
there's a real strong sense of culture. And
Yeah. It was a lot, yeah. And we all knew each other. And we still know each other today. You know, if we see someone from the Gulch, we'll give them a big hug or something. I can remember the day, I was only about 10 years old, I suppose. I was up on the hill, and they went up and got married. And then I was looking down over the hill and see the two of them coming down the track. And she had, you know, those square white handkerchiefs?
yes.
Well, that's what she had on her head for the veil. And two of them walked down the track and went home. That's my memory, yeah, of them. Yeah, I told Doug about it, yeah.
Ella Josephine Campbell. Slim, slight. Sinew and bird bones. Cords of her hands like spruce roots. came from Ship Cove to Crow Gulch with little more than the child inside her. Landed in a small shack flanked by an outhouse, train tracks. Made it work. Had to. No surviving a place like this without some acceptance, some yield to the blunt force of what must be done. She lived for a dance on the weekend, or a game of bingo during the week. Draped in her favorite sweater, blue-green swirls on black, 3 times her size. Costume pearls with earrings to match. Heading down to the palace, all tobacco smoke and last week's gossip. The night she won, she dropped by the Paternick Lounge to chat with her brothers. A quick rum and coke. Warms the blood for the walk home, she'd say. Get her in the woods, and she was all business. The frantic flick of the rod whipped the hackle off the fly long before a trout ever could. Her peals of laughter against the far shore. No smooth arcs or figure-8 false casts, just enough line in the water to get wet. A woman most at home, without ceilings, without walls.
My memory of down there on the hill is in the winter time, jumping off the rocks and going down in the snow and that. And in the summertime, we had a old-time bike, like, and going from one side of the hill over to the other side. We was never allowed up on the road with the bike.
Right.
Because they were too dangerous. And for our wood, well, you know where we got our wood at? From Bowater, lug it up over the hill and chop it up. Me and my brother used to saw up the big piles of wood. Yeah, and there's still wood down there now in the yards.
Yes.
We used to go down across the track, and they used to have a great big chute from the track down in the water, and the train come and take the wood off with the pulp pick and throw it down in the water. And this is where the booms was. That's where we used to go down on the booms and jump off or swimming on the booms.
Now a breath of fresh air all the way from Sri Lanka. We will be watching a performance by the group Apri C, who will be performing 2 traditional songs. The first song will be about the meaning of life, and then followed up by a song about a woman who searched for local gossip and spreads it around the town. So sit back and let's enjoy.
සසඳ දිය මතු පිට තිබෙයි කොළ දිය මතු පිට තිබෙයි කොළ බබා මෝරණ කැකුළු මල අහා ඔහෝ මස්තකයින්ට මුතු කුඩයකින් ලොම් මල තඳෙන තනම් මස්තකයින්ට මුතු කුඩයකින් ලොම් මල සකිය සගව්වට රෝදය කැරකෙනවා සසඳ සසඳ අපි මහ පාරේ යනවා සකිය සගව්වට රෝදය කැරකෙනවා සසඳ සසඳ අපි මහ පාරේ යනවා සසඳ සඳ පානේ අපි යනවා සඳ පානේ අපි යනවා දෙයගේ පිටයි මකොලි බඳට ගොන්බානක් බැඳ යනවා ගොන්බානක් බැඳ යනවා ගලිනි ගණයි සකිය සගව්වට රෝදය කැරකෙනවා ඔහෝ දත් කැකුලට නාරම් මල ලත වෙනවා තඳින තනම් දත් කැකුලට නාරම් මල ලත වෙනවා සකිය සගව්වට රෝදය කැරකෙනවා සසඳ සසඳ අපි මහ පාරේ යනවා සකිය සගව්වට රෝදය කැරකෙනවා සසඳ සසඳ අපි මහ පාරේ යනවා සසඳ සඳ පොබයන සාබුන්ට සඳ පොබයන සාබුන්ට දෙයගේ පිටයි මකොලි පඳට දුටු විගසට ගිරවුන්ට දුටු විගසට ගිරවුන්ට ගලෙලි හඳයි පදින සැරේ රොන්ගෙන යන බඹරුන්ට වරටි කිරෝ සත් සමුදුර පීනන්ට තදෙන තනම් වරටි කිරෝ සත් සමුදුර පීනන්ට සකිය සගව්වට රෝදය කැරකෙනවා සසඳ සසඳ අපි මහ පාරේ යනවා සකිය සගව්වට රෝදය කැරකෙනවා සසඳ සසඳ අවුලඤ්ඤං ගිනි ගෙඩි දෙඤ්ඤං 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 ගම අවුලඤ්ඤං හබ පටලඤ්ඤං ගිනි ගෙඩි දෙඤ්ඤං දෙඤ්ඤං දෙඤ්ඤං
වට පිරුවට ඇදගෙන ඉන්නේ දානෙට සීලෙට මුලටමයි
දානෙට සීලෙට මුලටම ඉන්නේ
වයසට යනකොට මොනවද වෙන්නේ කඩ වට කර වැට කොහොම පනින්නේ
කට වට කර වැට කොහොම බඳින්නේ දොමි කිට කිට දොම් දොම් දොමි දොමි කිට කිට දොම් දොම් ගම අවුලඤ්ඤං හබ පටලඤ්ඤං ගිනි ගෙඩි දෙඤ්ඤං 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 ගම අවුලඤ්ඤං හබ පටලඤ්ඤං ගිනි ගෙඩි දෙඤ්ඤං දෙඤ්ඤං දෙඤ්ඤං
අහල පහල කෙට වීම සිරිත කිනුවේ හැමදාම කොතනද ඔබම ගියාම නාවතීනේ
නාවතීනේ ගම අවුලඤ්ඤං හබ පටලඤ්ඤං ගිනි ගෙඩි දෙඤ්ඤං 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 ගම අවුලඤ්ඤං හබ පටලඤ්ඤං ගිනි ගෙඩි දෙඤ්ඤං දෙඤ්ඤං දෙඤ්ඤං
දුවට පිරුවට ඇදගෙන ඉන්නේ දානෙට සීලෙට මුලටමයි ඉන්නේ
දානෙට සීලෙට මුලටම ඉන්නේ
වයසට යනකොට මොනවද වෙන්නේ කඩ වට කර වැට කොහොම බඳින්නේ
කට වට කර වැට කොහොම බඳින්නේ දොමි කිට කිට දොම් දොම් දොමි දොමි කිට කිට දොම් දොම් දොමි දොමි කිට කිට දොම් දොම් දොමි දොමි කිට කිට දොම් දොම්
Santiago is the artistic director of Todos Productions. Santiago Guzman and Vanessa Cardoso Whalen are collecting stories from immigrants and refugees for a dramatic script now tentatively named Newfoundlanded. The idea for Newfoundlanded was born when Santiago realized how little to no diversity was presented on the local stages of Newfoundland and Labrador.
Hello, my name is Santiago Guzman. My pronouns are he and him, and I am a theater creator and filmmaker originally from Metepec, Mexico, but now living in beautiful St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. And I am the artistic director for Todos Productions, a theater group that focuses on supporting, producing, and developing the work of underrepresented artists in this community, such as Black, Indigenous, people of color, people with disabilities, the 2S LGBTQIA+ community, and landed immigrants. And the project that we have been working on through the Arts Connector program is tentatively called Newfoundlanded, which is a documentary theater piece about immigrants and refugees in Newfoundland and Labrador. I started thinking about this project around 2019 when I first moved to St. John's. And it was because I realized that there was not a lot of diversity on our local stages. Specifically, my identity as an immigrant was not reflected on stage. So one of the reasons why I felt like that was not happening was because there was not a lot of people working on writing these stories for the stage. In my way of navigating this, because for myself as a playwright, one of the things that I thought was that I really wanted to capture lived experiences outside of my own. So I was interested in documentary theater. And I thought that that was a way for us to really capture the voices and the essence of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians that have made this place home, just like me, that traditionally don't see themselves represented on stage. And we engaged in a very long process, and it's still a work in progress, where we interview immigrants and refugees about their experiences in Newfoundland and Labrador. What does home means to them? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And to tell us stories about Newfoundland and Labrador from their perspective. And what we're doing is that we're taking those reflections and thoughts and commentary into a play. And this is a way for us to document their experiences and really honor how vibrant and diverse Newfoundland and Labrador has always been. And this project started back in 2020. Was it 2020? Oh, this project began, the ideation of the project began in 2020, and because of the pandemic, still ongoing pandemic, we had to change the way that we were operating. We were originally intending to travel across Newfoundland and Labrador to interview these immigrants and refugees, but of course, because of the pandemic, we couldn't do it. And we still were able to host these interviews online, and it was very fruitful, and it was so beautiful to reach out to all of those outside of St. John's. We interviewed people in Corner Brook and Pasadena, in Central. It was very, very great to be able to do some outreach, and as well as Labrador, at least in a digital way. And the team that is currently working with me on this project is Vanessa Cardoso Whalen and Nabila Qureshi. The three of us are using these reflections and stories into creating this new script that we are still working on. And we're hoping to bring these collections of stories to a stage very, very soon. So stay tuned.
Karandeep Kaur is from India and currently living in Labrador City. She will be performing a traditional Indian Bhangra. She dances to promote the diversity in dance coming in from India. Let's listen to a little bit more of Santiago Guzman's journey in Newfoundland and Labrador and his project, Newfoundlanded.
And now I would like to share with you some of the quotes that we have taken from these interviews and that we are playing around with to include them in our script, now tentatively called Newfoundlanded. These quotes are out of order. These quotes represent different voices, but these are some thoughts that really puncture us and marked us in a significant way as we were doing this research process that made us see Newfoundland and Labrador from a different perspective. Newfoundland is home, but it's a very complicated home because I am an immigrant. I had this book from Canada that I had gotten at some point for a school project from the embassy, and the pictures were just amazing, like the trees, the mountains, the lakes, the animals. So I always liked that book. So I said, oh, maybe I should go to Canada. I don't know if it was serendipity, but we lived in, I'm an immigrant, as you know, all-around immigrant. So we were living in the United States, and I found city life too much. I just wanted somewhere more rural. I've never heard of Newfoundland before. Like, it was just kind of like, you're gonna go there and live for the next. I saw in the pictures or something was colorful buildings. This city is very famous for colorful buildings, long winters. Yeah, I read about it. I came here in 1997, and I was so inspired by the outports that I saw here. And you know, all the colors, the brightly colored little houses and sheds and all that, and wharfs. I wasn't coming here for like playing, you know, like having fun. Like, yes, I want to have fun, but school was my main goal. So I was like, as long as school is good and I can get a degree, like, I don't care about being lonely or what. When I decided to immigrate, there were a lot of reasons. The most important one was my son's future. So I thought that there is no future for my son in my country. I had some family problems as well. I was in emotional divorce state for around 5 years. So I found I have nothing to lose, you know? So I decided to immigrate. I didn't expect it to be easy. Moving to a new country isn't easy. People are, yes, I agree, very welcoming. My plan had always been to stay in Newfoundland. I didn't initially have any intention of leaving. When I first arrived, anyway, and then we were above the ocean, and the plane went down and down and down, and all I could see from where I was sitting in the airplane was water. And it kept going down, and it was really, really close to the water, and I thought, my God, we're landing in the water. And all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. You know, we were on the air. You know, the airfield in Stephenville, which is right next to the ocean, but I have never experienced anything like it. So it was very scary, but I made it. It's such a small place, and everybody knows each other. We don't have that much diversity. If not super diverse, certainly urban in ways that I think St. John's doesn't often get credit for. St. John's is like Corner Brook on asteroids. And I was like, I always say it, don't I? I don't even know how to pronounce this word. Steroids. Steroids. Anyway, here we are. But you get the point. Yeah, that's it.
Craig Gowdy was born on the west coast of Newfoundland and Labrador, but has spent the last 30 years living in Grand Falls, Windsor. He works on a wide range of media and art pieces and has completed many murals in the central region. On this occasion, he presents several pieces of the ACC Permanent Canvas exhibit and Project 2000.
Hi, and welcome to Gwendolyn Cooper Art Gallery Spaces here at the Gordon Pinson Center for the Arts in Grand Falls, Windsor. My name is Craig Gowdy. I'm currently the president of Canvas, the Central Newfoundland Visual Arts Society. One of our favorite activities as a visual arts organization, of course, would be our exhibits. Our exhibitions, we have them here at the Gwendolyn Cooper gallery space, but we recently acquired a new gallery space at the IRMA site. You might better know it as the Salmon Ladder, Environment Resources Management Association, on the other side of the Exploits River. And we have exhibits there in the summertime. But over here, right now, presently, we have an exhibit on the wall of our, well, late 2021, 2022 winter exhibit is up. Here, for instance, Alice Dix. Alice was one of the founding members of the Art Society, and Alice works in a lot of different media. You've got here her mixed media pieces and some painting that she's recently done. Here we have a new member, Christina Blanchard, and Christina's exhibiting, I think this is her first exhibit in with us right now. And there we go, Rod Taylor. Rod is right now our exhibits chair on executive. And Rod, as you notice, does a lot of work in stained glass. Then we have Angela Foss. Angela's been a member with Canvas now for a nice while. I'm sure that no stranger to the people in central Newfoundland if you've gone around and seen various of the stores and coffee shops and things like this that Angela has exhibited in over the years. Here's some large pieces by Bob Vardy, quite lovely Newfoundland imagery here, and all of these are large acrylics by Bob's. On this wall, around here, here's again one of our relatively younger members, Pamela Martin Reed, and Pamela's got some very realistic pieces up here. All of these, I think, are her colored pencil and ink, but she works in different media as well. This piece by Bill Dwyer, it's a large watercolor that Bill's worked on here, quite a lovely piece. I think he did this one from an archival photo, if I'm right. Now I'd like to introduce you to two of our best features. They would be our two public collections here at the gallery space. This collection on this wall here and into this corner is what's known as Project 2000. Project 2000, I think, began in around 1985. And the deal at the time, the members had decided they wanted to grow a public collection for the people of central Newfoundland, featuring the work of Newfoundland and Labrador born artists. So you had to pass the blood test, born here. And so that kind of limited the scope. And they said by the year 2000, they had hoped they'd have a sizable little collection. They didn't know what they were going to do, but they started. And at the year 2000, when 2000 came, they realized, uh-oh, now what? So they started Project 2000, which I'll show you in a moment. But Project 2000 is a little different in that it's Newfoundland and Labrador born artists, but also Newfoundland artists who came to live and work in Newfoundland and Labrador. Some of them for a long time, some not so much. This one's a little different. I think this is probably the only public collection like this in the province, or probably in the world, like this. And it features Newfoundland and Labrador born artists from all over the province, Newfoundland and Labrador. And I like to think that this is where a good collection came in from all over the place. Up there at the top, you'll notice a piece from Labrador done by Gilbert Hay. Gilbert's probably better known for some of his carvings, but because this was a gallery space and a flat wall, we opted to go for one of Gilbert's prints. A lovely piece here by Brian Lasaga from out on the west coast. A lot of people on the west coast of the island, and actually I think right now internationally, because Brian's work has shown up internationally in some art journals that I've noticed. This piece here, a lot of people come in to see this one here. This is our David Blackwood piece. Oh, here you go. There's a Scott Gowdy, probably related. I know he is. But Scott's in on St. John's and well known in there. Here's a piece that's near and dear to us because this guy came and did a number of workshops with us. This is Jerry Squire's work. Jerry came in and did a number of workshops over the years. I'm trying to think when he was here the last, but anyhow, then we've got a Grant Boland when Grant was up and coming. And when we got this one, Grant may have just finished his I guess, stint over at Granville College at the time. Here we've got a piece from Labrador by Sheila Harvey. And Sheila was also down, did a little workshop with us years ago. So that was Project 2000. Before I begin on Project Canvas, I'm going to point out this. In 2009, the Newfoundland Labrador Arts Council inducted Central Newfoundland Visual Arts Society into their Hall of Honor, which we're really pleased with that year. A little bit of a feather. And as I'm going along with this, it strikes me, I'm almost like dropping names. It is a name-dropping thing. These are significant artists, and this is a significant collection, and we would welcome the world to come and see it. We're really enthusiastic about these. So, This time, Newfoundland and Labrador born, but also Newfoundland and Labrador practiced in. So they're not necessarily born here, but we're happy enough we adopt anybody, CFAs and all. So here we go, Randy Lieb. A lot of people would know Randy's work from over the years. We've got Harold Goodridge, another historical piece in the province, this one here. Then we've got, here's a piece here I want to talk about, Albert Hillier. Albert, for years and years, well known in this town from early on, a well-known photographer, visual artist. But this piece here used to live down at the Legion, but we asked and inquired and then had it refurbished and cleaned up and are only too happy to be exhibiting this piece here proudly of Albert's. And again, one of our touchstones for visual arts here in Grand Falls, Windsor. I'd like to take a moment and speak about this piece. This is done by Tony Power and past member of Canvas. We established 2 scholarships in Tony's name a number of years back, and every year we give the 2 scholarships, one for a student beginning their art program, and for another one that's given to students who are continuing already in the program, and we alternate them year after year. So we have 2 scholarships, the Anthony Power scholarships that we award for students doing the fine art program, and recently we turned that into a college degree granting thing as well. So our 2 scholarships in Tony's name. And as I come along, so we've got some other pieces here. Here's a piece done by Stuart Montgomery. Stuart used to be on the West Coast, but then moved into the East Coast for the latter days of his life. This is a piece by Michael Pittman. Michael came to town a number of years ago and settled in, and very much an up-and-coming, well, not up-and-coming, he's established now, visual artist in, I will call it, in the national circles. I come around here, I'm going to point to Anne Meredith Barry, a number of years back, well back now. She also was in and did a workshop with us, but her work is seen all over the province as well. So finally, I'd like to conclude with a couple of things mentioned, other activities Canvas is involved with. We do workshops with our members, some years more than others. We have a craft fair and auction, which is where we raise the bulk of our money. We've gotten, with the town of Grand Falls, Windsor, and their support at the stadium in the last number of years. So it's a large event, usually goes on around the Red Maple Festival, if you want to catch it there then. What else? Oh, we have purchased, after saving up for years, a printing press, which is available to our members if they want to go out there and use that. And we've also got a number of pottery wheels, which were donated to us by the good people out in Kings Point at that pottery studio. If you've never gone out there, do check that out. Linda Yates, David Hayashida, so we can thank them for that. And our members have been using that, and we also allow the town then, and encourage the town to use that with their programming. Besides that, let's see, oh yeah, and then we've got our regular get-togethers, socials, things like that, all kinds of reasons why you should become a member of Canvas if you haven't already. So there you go. We have a website and a Facebook page, presence, so you can find us on that. And we look forward to seeing you. Come on over to the gallery, have a look around.
Let Me Be There is performed in a drummer's circle. Many First Nations use the circle to represent balance, equality, wholeness, and connection. The circle is made up of equal, connected, infinite points. The creator is the center around which all living things, including humans, sit.
Together. Igan nechiktunge iganole. Igan nechiktunge iganole. Yani yani ya hey ya iganole ya yani yani ya hey ya iganole. Yani yani ya hey ya iganole ya yani yani ya hey ya iganole.
Abstract is a project with Filipino roots because all the members are from the Philippines and have been playing together for 6 months. Because they have the same musical influences, they understood immediately what style of music they wanted to play. They play traditional Filipino songs and contemporary tunes from the Philippines.
Okay, our first song is Tinikling. This is a song originated during the Spanish colonial era to a dance that involves two people dancing, popping and sliding bamboo poles on the ground and against each other in coordination with one or more dancers. So here we go. Our next song is Kanlungan, which is called Shelter. It's a song composer and sung by Noel Cabangon, which is also a folk singer, and it was released on 2009. This song has various meaning, thoughts, and message. It is about reminisce that give us feeling of nostalgia, very heartwarming, that will tickles the tears you have been hiding in your heart.
Babalik ba ang kahapon? Natatandaan mo pa ba? Tayong dalawa'y unang nagkita, panahon ng kamusmusan, sa piling ng mga bulaklak at halaman. Doon tayo nagsimulang mangarap at tumulong. Natatandaan mo ba ba? Inukit kong puso sa punong mangga, at ang inalay mong gumamela. Magkahawak kamay sa dalampasigan, babalik ba ang kahapon? Ngayong ikaw ay nagbalik, katulad ko rin ng iyong pananabik, makita ang dating kanlungan, tahanan ng ating tula, pangarap ngayon ay naglaho na. Saan hanapin pa? Lumilipas ang panahon, kabiyak ng ating gunita, ang mga puno, halaman, bakit kailangang lumisan? Panapanahon ng pagkakataon, may babalik ba ang kahapon?
Our next song is Anak, in English, Child. It was released in 1978, a Tagalog song written by Filipino folk singer Freddie Aguilar. It became international hit and was translated into 27 languages. The lyrics speak of Filipino family values. The artist composed this song as an apology and having remorse to his parents.
Isilang ka sa mundong ito, laking tuwa ng magulang mo, at ang kamay nila ang iyong ilaw. At ang nanay at tatay mo, di malaman ang gagawin, minamasdan pati pagtulog mo. At sa gabing napupuya ng iyong nanay sa pagtimplang gatas mo, at sa umaga na may kalong ka ng iyong amang tuwang-tuwa sa'yo. Ngayon nga'y malaki ka na, nais mo'y maging malaya, di man sila payag, walang magagawa. Ikaw nga ay biglang nagbago, naging matigas ang iyong ulo, at ang payo nila'y sinungay mo. Di mo man lang inisip na ang kanilang ginagawa'y para sa'yo. Pagkat ang nais mo'y matunod ang layaw mo, di mo sila pinapansin. Nagdaan pa ang mga araw at ang landas mo'y naligaw, ikaw ay nalulong sa masamang bisyo. At ang una mong nilapitan ng iyong inang lumuluha, at ang tanong, anak, ba't ka nagkaganyan? at iyong mga matay biglang lumuwa nang di mo napapansin. Pagsisisihan sa isip mo, nalaman mo ika'y nagkamali. Pagsisisihan sa isip mo, nalaman mo ika'y nagkamali. Pagsisisihan sa isip mo, nalaman mo ika'y nagkamali.
We also have the Pinoy Gander Force dancers and traditional Filipino costume models who are made up of family and relatives who have immigrated from the Philippines to Gander. They are going to dance the Pilin Muang Philippines and represent dresses from each province.
Minsa'y natuwa ang may likha, 7,000 pulo ang ginawa. Mga hiyas na inilatag sa malasot lang dagat. At ang bayan niyang pinili, nasa dulo ng bahaghari. Kaya't 1,000 kulay nangaakit kumakaway. Piliin mo rin ang Pilipinas, kapulo ang kwintas ng perlas. Piliin mo, yakapin mo, kayamanan niyang likas. Piliin mo ang Pilipinas. Kasayahang di mapatid, ramdam sa bawat awit. Sama sisig lang indak, mga puso'y lumilipad. Piliin mo rin ang Pilipinas, kapulo ang kwintas ng perlas. Piliin mo, yakapin mo, kayamanan niyang likas. Piliin mo ang Pilipinas. At ang ngiti ng may kabat, taglay ng bawat nilalang. May lambing na dumuduyan sa buong pakiramdam. Piliin mo rin ang Pilipinas, kapulo ang kwintas ng perlas. Piliin mo, yakapin mo, kayamanan niyang likas. Piliin mo ang Pilipinas. Dito ay tinadhana, araw, buwan at mga palad. Ganap na magniningning, kailan may di magdidilim.
Yeah, if you know what I'm talking about. Suitcase in the house with the party sound. First choice, first love, if you ask the crowd. Come on, shout it out. Everybody's gonna dance to this. I see the whole world party in the Philippines. Now with Angelique, info bueno on the TV screen.
This is like a samba for me to Manila with the hitting and drums. Yeah, so shake it up and dance it like no more drama. And shut the game to Philippines, no one that. The world keeps talking, but we ain't walking. We keep on dancing, that's how we rock it. 7,107 islands of BBC, pieces of heaven.
Piliin mo rin ang Pilipinas. 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 Kapulo ang kwintas ng perlas. Piliin mo, yakapin mo, kayamanan niyang likas. Piliin mo ang Pilipinas.
I'd like to thank everyone involved, especially the Government of Canada through the Department of Canadian Heritage, the Arts and Culture Centres across the province, Rogers TV, and of course Tombolo and its performance. The show is about you.
Our next song is You and Don't Know What to Say. These two songs, which our next song is our version, and we combine it, so it's just like a total of one song. These songs have received several awards during their era. You, sung by our own Basil Valdez, and Don't Know What to Say by Rick Segredo. Both of them is our balladeers in our country.
You give me hope, the strength, the will to keep on. No one else can make me feel this way, and only you can bring out all the best I can do. I believe you turn the tide, make me feel real good inside. You push me up when I'm about to give up. You're on my side when no one seems to listen. And if you go, you know the tears can't help but show. You'll break this heart and tear it apart. Then suddenly the madness starts. It's your smile, your face, your lips that I miss. Those sweet little eyes that stare at me and make me stay. I'm with you through all the way, 'cause it's you who feels the emptiness in me. It changes everything I see when I know I've got you with me. I have loved you only in my mind, but I know that there will come a time to feel this feeling I have inside. You're a hopeless romantic is what they say, falling in and out of love just like a play, memorizing each line and still don't know what to say. What to say. Don't know what to do whenever you are near. Don't know what to say. My heart is floating in tears. When you pass by, I could fly. Every minute, every second of the day, I dream of you in the most special way. You're beside me all the time. All the time. All the time. It's your smile, your face, your lips that I miss. Those sweet little eyes that stare at me and make me stay. I'm with you through all the way, 'cause it's you who feels the emptiness in me. It changes everything you see when I know I've got you. It's your smile, your face, your lips that I miss. Those sweet little eyes that stare at me and make me stay. I'm with you through all the way, 'cause it's you who feels the emptiness in me. It changes everything I see when I know I've got you with me.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
Are you a woman experiencing abuse? Do you know a woman experiencing abuse? Help is available any time of day or night. Sheltersafe.ca is an online map that helps you find a women's shelter or transition house that meets your needs so you can live a life free from violence. Sheltersafe.ca. Help is just a click away.
I'm Carol Baskin.
Does the name Joseph Maldonado Passage mean anything to you?
He is a psychopath who wishes me dead. Documented animal abuser, Joe Exotic.
We're coming for you.
You have no idea what I'm willing to do for my animals.
I really feel like I was put on this earth to rescue cats.
I've had to fight for everything I got.
So it's war.
It's war.
Joe vs. Carol. Limited series Wednesday, March 23rd, only on Showcase.
You're watching Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Well, it's been some years ago since I'd left my island home for to go to the mainland, as the old folks would say.